chair yogis, and hopefully some others that have not tried chair yoga yet. For some of you yogis who feel like chair yoga would not be much of a challenge to you, I encourage you to try this class because it's one of my favorites. It challenges my body, and I feel like I'm a pretty strong person. I've got a very strong core. My legs are muscular. I feel like I've got a lot of strength in my body. I don't have a lot of flexibility in my body, but I have a lot of strength in my body, and this challenges me in a completely different way. So in our classes, we call it, when you sign up, it's called Not Your Grandma's Chair Yoga, because our intention is that, not that grandmas can't do it, because I've got a lot of grandmas that come and do it. However, my intention is that it's just not an activity for you to do, but it actually has purpose. It is to keep those of you who are not in wheelchairs out of wheelchairs. It is to keep you upright so that you don't start this posture of leaning forward and hunching over. It's to keep you on your feet for as long as we can. It's to keep you driving in your car for as long as you can. It's to help those. I've got yogis, chair yogis of a variety of ages. Some have had surgeries that can't get up and down off of the floor. Some people have limitations that the floor is just not an option for them, and so chair is an option, and it gives you a really, really good workout. It's good for strengthening the body. Already we have got several people in our classes that have had hip or knee replacements, and already gaining lots of mobility in them and seeing strength in their bodies. They're even planking in class. So everything we use a chair with, and never in my classes will you be on your floor in a chair yoga class. I know some chair yoga classes have you be on the floor. We will never have you on the floor. We do come up off of the chair, but we always use the chair, or we use a wall for support. Grab a chair. This is just my kitchen chair. I didn't even grab my chair from out in the studio, which is a little bit narrower, and it has some padding on it, which is way more comfortable. This chair has a little bit of a curve in the back of it, and mine out for the studio has a straight back chair. Straight back chairs are ideal because posture is super important. So if your chair rounds and you tend to round out like this in your chair, then you want to put something for support, like a pillow there. Normally when we start, we have bolsters. So I'm going to do this whole practice with no props today. In our classes, we are big on props. In all of our classes, we use props in every single class. And we use props with chair yoga too. But I know that even some of my chair yogis who normally come to class don't have these props at home. So I'm not going to use props today to show you that all you have to do is grab a chair, and you can do it right along with me. So we always scoot our booty all the way back to the chair, shoulders back and down, spine is nice and straight, and then just kind of relax. We always start off with breath practice. We want to strengthen the lungs. That's what we have breath practice for. It makes your lungs stronger. It helps you to tap in and use all of your lungs instead of just the upper portion of our lungs. When you run out of breath real fast, chances are you're only using a portion of your lungs, and we're made to use all of them. If you watch a baby breathe when they're laying on their back, their bellies expand and contract. They use this whole space. That's what we're supposed to do. But over time, with stress, all different sorts of stuff that come in, we stop using the full capacity of our lungs, and we only use a portion of it, which means toxins settle at the bottom of it. So it's really good to completely exhale all of that air out to help filter that junk out of our lungs. It also helps to calm the body. It calms the mind when you breathe. It also helps you to deepen into stretches, helps you to endure in an intense pose. The breath is life. It is super, super important. So let's get into it. So your booty's back, your shoulders are back and down. I have music playing in the background. You probably can't hear it, so just put on your favorite playlist and just flow to it. So we're gonna drop the shoulders down. Ujjayi breath, everything comes in and out through the mouth. I like to close my eyes because when my eyes are open, I'm so distracted. I see things and my mind starts to wander. So I like to close my eyes. You don't have to. This is your practice. Make it your own. I just offer suggestions. So So in Ujjayi breath, everything comes in and out of the mouth. It's kind of a hard thing to comprehend at first, but once you get it, you get it. So the air comes in, we pull with the throat muscles to draw the air in, and the air comes in, but the lips are closed. And you think, well, how can I bring air in through my mouth if my lips are closed? The air actually comes through the nose, but we don't suck in through the nose. We pull with the throat. The throat muscles pull and draw the air in through the nose. The difference between going, that's sucking air in through the nose. To draw it, I'm gonna use the throat. And you might not even be able to hear me do that. The idea is that you wouldn't hear me do that. It's very soft sounding breath. So when you breathe in, your belly expands. A lot of times when we suck in through our nose and we're not really using the full capacity of our lungs, we suck in our belly when we go. And our chest lifts and our shoulder lifts, but this should all stay relaxed and down, and as you breathe in, the belly should puff out. So as I draw in, my belly gets big. And then as I exhale, the belly draws back in. So we want to try to fill up the belly space and then the chest space. And then when you exhale, the belly stays big, the chest drops, and then the belly sinks in. All right. So Ujjayi breath. Let's exhale everything out. Close the lips, and if you want, you can plug off the nose. Make sure you're not pulling in through the nose. Start your inhale through the mouth. You have to open your mouth if your nose is plugged. Exhale softly, push the air out. Inhale again, start to breathe in. Close the lips, let go of the nose. Your belly's expanding. Softly exhale, your breath hits the back of your teeth, the lips stay closed. We're going to expand. Inhale, belly. Expand the ribs. Up into the chest. Keep the belly big. Exhale the chest. Close the ribs. Pull the belly back in. Inhale, belly. Ribs. Chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Do that 2 more times on your own. So I always encourage you to do that at your own space. Everybody's breath capacity is so different. You may be struggling to get 3 breaths in, or 3 counts in, and some of us can go up to almost 60 counts. Usually mine is about 40, 45 counts. So that was 1 breath for me. I don't know how many that was for you, but I've been doing this for a long time, and that was actually a shorter breath for me. I didn't take it as long as what I could. So the more you practice this, the stronger your lungs get, the more air you can take in, and you can really calm your body in intense situations. When you get anxious, if you just breathe. When you're doing some kind of physical exercise and you breathe through it, it gives you a little bit more strength, a little bit more power. When you're going into a stretch and it feels intense, when you exhale into it, your body, the muscles relax and your body gets deeper into the stretch. So the breath is super important. All right, so normally I have blocks right here on the floor beside the chair for our stretch. So we're just going to use the edge of the chair instead of reaching our hand down to the blocks. So let's inhale that left arm up and exhale over. The right hand is on the chair, lengthening, and then you're just going to stretch over. So if you need to get a deeper stretch through the side body, bend that right elbow and reach over. So we want to lengthen through the shoulder. Instead of reaching the fingers long, we're going to reach long through the shoulder. So take a breath and exhale and pull the shoulder up and over. Gives you a nice, good side body stretch here. Taking another breath in and exhale. And inhale the right arm up and exhale over. To deepen that stretch, bend that elbow. Take a breath. Exhale, lengthen through the shoulder. So pull the shoulder up and over. Extend through the ribs. Taking another breath in. And exhale. And bringing that center. Dropping the chin into the chest. Let it hang heavy. Let the shoulders drop low. Take a breath. Exhale, swing it down and around to the right. Pulling those shoulders low. Taking a breath. Exhale, down and around to the left. Pulling the shoulders low. Bring it down to center and bring it up right. Reaching that left arm long. Right arm up over the head and exhale, pull down toward the shoulder. Now reach those fingertips nice and long. And switching out sides. Reach those fingers long. Pull the shoulders down and pull the ear down toward the shoulders. So we don't want our shoulders shrugging up into our ears. We want to keep them down nice and low. And bringing that up center. So usually Wednesday is our power day in chair class. Monday is our gentle day. So this is not a gentle day. So we're going to do a little bit of strength stuff for you. So we're going to do seated planks. And so we're going to bring the forearms like this. So the triceps are parallel to the floor. So we don't want the elbows tipping down toward the waist. We want them parallel to the floor. I'll turn to the side so you can see what my body's doing. We're going to pull the pubic bone up toward the face. We're going to round out through the shoulders and pull the heart into the chest. And we're going to push those forearms away from us. And that's going to be your seated planking. You're going to feel your core really engaged, the tops of your thighs, your shoulders are going to start burning. We're going to do that 5 times. So don't clasp and don't transfer all of your energy to your hands. They're just together. That's all. So take a breath. And exhale, push the arms away, round out through the shoulders. Now tip your pelvis in, and that is your plank posture. So you're high and rounded through the shoulders, your pubic bone is tipping up to your heart, and you're still breathing. Inhale, release. Exhale, push and round out through the spine like you're pushing the spine through those shoulder blades. You're tipping the pubic bone up toward the face. Inhale, release. Exhale, push. Inhale, release. Exhale, push. Inhale, release. One more time. Exhale, push. Tuck it all in, nice and tight. And release and roll out those shoulders. So, see, intense, and we're not even on the floor planking. So roll out those shoulders. Anytime we roll out the joints, we're getting synovial fluid going through the joints. It lubricates them, makes them feel all better. All right, so we're gonna start our warrior series pose. So this is mountain pose. Feet are right underneath the knees. Ankles are right underneath the knees. Knees are hip width apart. We're going to roll the shoulders back and down, and we're reaching the fingertips toward the floor. So this is how you start to get into it, but we need to now engage. So you're going to tip the pubic bone up toward the heart. It's going to feel like your booty's lifting up off the chair and is really lightweight on the chair. Your feet are lightweight on the floor, but you lift your toes and you ground down all the bones of your feet. So all corners of your feet should be touching the floor, and then you can relax those toes back down just to make sure that you're not leaning on the outside edges of your feet. So rooting down, pubic bone tipped up, feel your body lifting from the chair, core is totally engaged, plugging those fingers into the floor, feel the backs of the arms engage, chin is parallel to the floor so your airway is open, and let's inhale, fan those arms up. And as you fan down, you're going to have a straight back and you're leading with the chest. So we're not rounding out the spine here, we're leading with the chest and you're hinging right in your hip sockets. And when you get about halfway, then you're just going to round it out and let it hang low. So I'm going to keep my head lifted so that the microphone can pick me up, but you're going to drop the crown of the head down and just relax. So now if you feel like the back legs of the chair wants to tip forward, then slide your booty back. If your legs are a little bit shorter, then maybe put a blanket, fold a blanket and put them underneath your legs. Maybe dangle that head around from side to side, let it be loose. And we're going to inhale that half lift. So put your fingertips on the floor, lengthen your spine. So your arms are nice and straight, the crown of your head is pulling toward me. Exhale, forward fold with a good strong back. Inhale, fan the arms up, palms up. You're using your back muscles to bring you up in the thighs. Prayer hands, exhaling, namaste. Bringing those hands down heart center. So all namaste means is the good in me honors the good in you. And I just refer it to prayer hands. That's what I mean when I say namaste. We're just bringing those hands down heart center. You're stretching out the fingers and the wrist right now. Just super important to keep all of those joints flexible. Bringing that back into mountain pose. So reset. Fingers plugging into the floor, shoulders back and down. Tip that pelvis up. It takes that arch out of your spine and it makes you feel nice and tall. You should feel the ribs extend, the crown of the head pulling up to the ceiling. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Nice flat back as you fan forward. And round it out into forward fold. Inhale, half lift, nice straight spine. Lengthen your spine here. Exhaling, forward fold. Good strong back. Inhale, all the way up. Exhaling, namaste. Rotating those fingers down toward the floor, out away from you, and pulling your palms into your chest. Rotating them back in toward the heart and keep rotating toward the floor. You're going to feel that all the way up the arms, all the way up to the shoulders. And release. Nice shoulder circle. So go ahead and isolate the left shoulder. And we're going to pull that arm way back. A nice big circle. 3 times around. You're opening up across the front of the chest, and that shoulder joint is going to give you a little bit better range of motion through that shoulder safely. Last time around. Really open up and pull back. And reverse it. So bringing it to the front, pulling back. To the front. Nice big circle. Last time around. Up and around. And isolating the right shoulder, same thing, to the front, pull way back, and bring it to the front. Open that shoulders up. So you're going to notice not each side always feel the same. One more time around. We have different mobility on different sides of our bodies. Take it the other way around. So you might have one shoulder that's way more mobile than the other. Same with our hips, same with our hamstrings, same with everything in our body. Some things might feel a little bit more balanced and evened out, but mostly we usually have a stronger side, a more flexible side, a more balanced side. All right, so seated cat-cow. So we're gonna bring the hands to the knees. We're gonna pull the belly and the chest forward and back. And I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see what my body's doing from the side. So for cow, we're going to pull the belly and the chest forward. Your booty is tipping up toward the back of the head, and you're going to drop your head back as long as you don't feel dizzy. So now relax your spine. Soften into that. You're going to feel that nice, deep low back stretch. Round it out to cat. So you're tipping your chin in, pulling your pubic bone up toward the heart. You're rounding out through the shoulders, bringing the tips of the shoulders together, pushing the spine through those shoulder blades. Taking your breath in between. So you inhale here, and then you exhale, pull forward, tip the head back, pulling the heart through, taking your breath, and then exhale, round it out. And bringing that center. We're going to pull the rib cage side to side so your spine moves like this. It moves like this. It moves all over the place. So we like to loosen it up. So you're just pulling side to side with the ribs. So we're not tipping the shoulders over and we're not leaning over. We're leading with the rib cage. Almost kind of feel like you're belly dancing. So we're just taking the ribs side to side, and you should feel that through your spine, through your back obliques. You should feel a little bit more movement as you go further side to side. You should feel that opening up more and more. One more breath here. And we're going to get into our warrior series now. So we're going to turn to the right. I hope I'm saying this right. I'm doing the opposite of what I'm doing because I think that that's what you're doing. So I'm not sure. So we're going to set this up. So normally we have mats under our chairs in the studio, and that gives us some stability through our feet. If you're on carpet, your feet are probably going to slip quite a bit. I know mine are already struggling to stay put. If you're on a hard floor, you don't want socks on because your feet are definitely going to slip. So take those socks off so you get some grip to it. So we want to line up here. Now hip mobility, knee mobility, depending on where you're at with your mobility. We have some yogis who cannot extend that leg back because of their hips and because of their knees, and so they're out more like this, and that's just fine. We make those modifications. We want you to feel good and safe in your body. We don't want you to torque the knee too much, and sometimes the hips are just too tight to not allow you into that stretch. So as much as you can, lengthen it behind you, have your chest facing me first, and get the legs in place. So lengthen that back leg, slide this knee all the way to the edge of the chair. If you're here, this thigh is going to be cutting, this chair is going to be cutting into this thigh, and it's going to be uncomfortable. So slide the knee all the way back to that chair. So check your feet. As much as you can, have your ankle in line with the arch of your foot. If it has to be out to the front of you, that's fine. We don't want it behind you, but if it needs to be out in front of you, that's fine. So that's going to give your hips some space anyway. So now look at this front leg and make sure that that ankle is right underneath the knee. So we don't want the foot pulled back and not being able to see the toes. We want that ankle right underneath the knee. And so when I look down here, I should see my toes sticking out. Now, if your foot is doing this and your heel is up off the floor, then you want to put something under there. You can fold up a blanket, or you can slide a book under there or something like that to get that foot flat. You want the foot flat, otherwise you're going to struggle with balance and you're going to make things harder on yourself than they need to be. So we're going to test the hip mobility here. So right now, your body's leaning forward into it. We're going to bring the fingertips. You're going to turn your chest and your hips toward that. Now, if your knee's really buckling and it's really hard, just slide the leg over. That's going to open up the hips a little bit more and let you be able to turn toward the front. This is pretty intense to try to keep that open here. So we're going to bring the fingers to the chair, stay rooted in the back foot, and lift your chest. You're stretching out this back hip flexor. Keep that foot on the ground in the front, and then we're going to sweep the arms up. We're going to keep the thigh on the chair to begin with. Lengthen those arms. So if you're struggling to get the arms up, this is open hips to be able to do this. If they're out here, that's fine. Widen your arms if you need to. If you're pulling your arms together and they're struggling and they're doing this, then widen your arms so that you can lengthen your arms, and it's going to feel better in your shoulders. Exhale, open up into warrior two. So that hand floats to the back. So I always like to see you do this instead of this, because if you can see the difference in my shoulder, how that rotation is versus doing this, looks better, looks more comfortable, doesn't it? Because it is. So drop the shoulders down, reach those fingers long, and then lengthen the back leg. Root down through the front foot. You should feel that thigh really working here. Take a breath, and we're gonna exhale, front hand, tips to the back, soften that back shoulder. So when I come into this, almost always in any class, this arm is usually bent when we come into it. We like to take that bend out of the arm. So relax the side body, take a breath, and with your exhale, lengthen from the shoulder to the fingertips and reach long, taking the buckle out of the arm. Make sure you're still breathing. Rotate back, open up into warrior two. Sweep up warrior one. We're turning our hips in the direction that our shoulders are going. And bringing the hands down. And bring those legs to the front. So the warrior series, I think, is more intense on the chair than it is from standing. It forces you into good alignment. So mountain pose, feet are hip width apart here. Tipping the hips up, feeling lightweight on the chair. Inhale, fan it up. Exhale, fan down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Good strong back. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, prayer hands. Namaste. So every time we bring those hands down heart center, you should feel them dropping a little bit lower because the wrists are getting more flexible, the fingers are getting more flexible, turning to the opposite direction. So slide that leg all the way back to the chair, the edge of the chair. You might feel a difference in your hips already. One hip might feel much better in this than the other one does. That's your open side. Check your foot to make sure it's right underneath the knees. Check the alignment of your feet to make sure you're in alignment here. Then turn your hips toward that knee, and if you need to adjust that back foot to give yourself some space, adjust that back foot. Make sure that heel's not lifting. If it is, slide something underneath there so you can root the whole foot down. Lifting the chest, tipping the hips up a little bit, and then sweeping those arms up. Lengthen. Palms are facing each other. I usually don't like wide fingers when the fingers are up, but that's your choice. I like mine together here. Exhale, warrior two. Fingers are together. Drop the shoulders, reaching out long. Reverse warrior, front hand, tips to the back. Soften that back shoulder. Taking the buckle out of the elbow, take a breath and exhale. Extend really long from the shoulder to the fingertips. Breathe. Open back up, warrior two. Sweep up, warrior one. And bringing the hands back down. Taking it to the front. We're going to do that same thing. This time you're going to try to lift the thigh up off of the chair. Your choice. It's a little bit harder, depending also how wide the base is on your chair. The ones we have out in the studio are just a little bit more narrower and makes that a little bit more possible. Also, your floor, where your feet, how stable your feet are is going to determine whether you can lift up. It's going to be more challenging to me because I don't have a gripping mat for my feet to grip. My feet want to slide, so it's going to be harder, which means more core engagement. So mountain pose. Inhale, fan that up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Good strong back inhale all the way up. Exhaling, namaste. And turning back to the right. Slide that leg all the way back to the chair. Engage this. Root down strong. So pull the buckle out of the knee. Root down. Turn the hips toward the front. See if you can lift the thigh off of the chair. Get some stability. And sweep the arms up. So your hips are facing the same direction that your shoulders are. So we don't want the hips open and trying to twist the shoulders. We want to close the hips with the shoulders. Drop the shoulders down, lengthen those arms. Take a breath and exhale, open up warrior two. Remember to float that arm back. Fingers together, reaching nice and wide. Drop the shoulders nice and long. Exhale, reverse warrior. Front hand tips to the back. Taking a breath. Exhale, lengthen the arm. Open back up, warrior two. Nice, good form. Making sure those arms are nice and level. Sweep up, warrior one. Drop the shoulders down, lengthen the arms really long. And bringing the hands down. Woo! Bringing that back into mountain pose. Inhale, fan that up. Exhale, fan down. Inhale, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Good, strong back inhale, all the way up. Exhaling, namaste. And turning to the opposite side. Same thing, so we're gonna try to lift up off of that chair, so get your good alignment through your legs, lengthen that leg, turning your hips to the front, engage through both of the feet, lifting that thigh. Sweeping the arms up, the hips are in the same direction as the shoulders, lengthening as much as you can. Remember, widen the arms to make the shoulders feel better if you need to. Palms are facing each other though, fingers together. Exhale, float the arm down and back. Drop the shoulders, lengthen those fingertips. Keep the hips tipped in, don't let that booty pop to the back. Keep it pulled in. Exhale, reverse warrior. Front hand tipping to the back. And breathe. Take a breath and exhale and reach long. Now remember, lifting from the chair is optional. If you want to strengthen those legs a little bit more, just the act of pushing through the feet is going to engage those legs. The leg doesn't even have to lift up off the chair. Warrior 2. Warrior 1. And bring that down. So that's how you gauge your progress. So eventually, over time, through working toward pushing through the feet, even though the thigh's not lifting up off the chair, eventually it will, and you know that those legs are getting stronger. The core is getting stronger. Mountain pose. Tip those hips up. Nice parallel chin, shoulders back and down. Inhale, fan that up. Exhaling, forward fold. Sweep it up, chair pose. So we're gonna sweep the arms up in line with the ears. So we don't want this action. We want the ears in line with those arms, and then tip your pelvis up. Really engage the core here. Bringing those hands to prayer. Heel toe those feet together, and we're going to twist it out. So take your right hand, push the knees over, take your left elbow, and drop it down to the knee. Now, if you don't have that mobility in your spine or that twist is not happening for you, then just lengthen the arm and let the forearm touch the leg. You're going to get that nice twist still. So either way, so you're either going to reach back to the chair and twist the shoulders open like this, or you're going to take the elbow to the thigh, prayer hands, lift the elbow up toward the ceiling so you have that shape, and then you're going to exhale, look up toward the elbow or up toward the ceiling. Soften your belly. The belly twist will help you to deepen this stretch. So exhale, and you're going to twist in the shoulders. You're going to pull that right shoulder back as you push that left elbow into that thigh. And take another breath. And exhale and twist. And release, rounding that out. Sweep it up, chair pose. Again, engage. So we don't want the head lifting up like this. We want it in line with those arms. Tip the pelvis up, really engage the core. So your body feels lightweight on the chair. And breathe. Bringing those hands to prayer, and we're going to twist to the left side. So again, either opened up here, looking back toward that shoulder, or bringing the elbow down. Making sure you lift the other elbow, and you're going to exhale, push that right elbow into the left thigh, and twist open those shoulders. Take another breath, and exhale, and twist. And release, hanging forward fold. Nice and easy. Ripple up through that spine, staying in the vein of twisting. Slide the booty back just a little bit. Left hand on the right thigh. Take that right arm up over the back of your chair. If your chair is too high, then just grab the bottom of the chair or take your hand over to the back, over to the other side of the back of the chair, whatever works for you. Just kind of let the elbow drape over that chair and then exhale, twist in the shoulders. Taking another breath in and exhale, twist back. So if you're driving, this is going to help you when you need to look back, when you're backing up and parallel parking and all those kind of things, when you need to look over your shoulder in a car, changing lanes to check your blind spot, and release. Switching that out, arm goes up over the back of the chair, opposite arm to that leg, exhale, twist in the shoulders. So we don't want to crank the neck, we're just twisting in the shoulders. So this arm is pushing into the leg as this shoulder's pulling back, letting your belly soften, and take another breath. And exhale and twist. And release. Set those legs back up into warrior 2. We're not going into warrior 1 right now. We're going to go into warrior 2. So remember, this arm floats down, not up like this. The rotation in the shoulder is much better if you let it float down. We're going to drop that right arm to the right thigh, left arm sweeps up. So I always have everybody sweep up in front of the arm, in front of the chest, so it goes straight out that shoulder socket. Normally if we sling it up, where's my arm at? It's not here, okay? So we like to sweep it up in front of our body so it goes straight out that shoulder socket. Palm is facing the direction that my chest is facing. This is right angle pose. Now, if you want to intensify, and you don't have to, root down through those feet, you're going to really engage the core and the legs here, and you're going to lengthen that right arm. And breathe. Bringing the arm back to the thigh, drop this left hand behind your back and reach for your thigh. Don't worry if you're not touching it, we're just reaching in that direction. It's going to really open up this shoulder. Take a breath and exhale, pull the shoulder back, see if you can reach the thigh or choke up on the thigh, or get the fingers closer to the thigh. And release that arm, back up into right angle pose. Extended right angle pose, that arm goes over the head, palm facing the floor. Now, again, another option, lengthen that right arm out. Bringing that arm back to the thigh, and let's windmill back open, warrior 2. And switching the legs right away. So going the opposite direction, setting your legs up and bringing that into warrior 2. Remember that back arm floats down. Going into right angle pose. Nice long legs, so don't let this back knee be buckling. Bringing that left arm to the left thigh, sweeping right up in front of the chest, straight out of that shoulder socket. Hanging here or reaching that arm out in front, engaging that core. Don't let this front heel lift. We want to root down through the whole foot, so that's going to engage more of your leg. Bringing the arm back to the leg, dropping that right arm behind the back, reaching for that thigh, twisting that chest open. Taking another breath. Exhale and twist. Reaching that arm back up. Extended right angle pose, arm goes over the head, palm facing the floor, and now staying right here or lengthen that arm out. Make sure you're breathing, make sure you're pressing through both feet. Lower body should be engaged, core should be engaged. Bringing the arm back to the thigh, arm goes back up, and warrior 2. And bringing that back to the front. I can't remember if I swept up into warrior 1 or not. Alright, so we're going to go into crescent pose now. So, mountain pose first. Inhale, fan that up. Exhaling, forward fold. Sweep it up, chair pose. Tip those hips up. Keep breathing. Hanging forward fold. Good strong back. Inhale all the way up. Exhaling, namaste. Wrist should feel pretty good here. Turning it back to the right. This time in crescent pose, the heel stays up on the back leg. So normally we have in the warrior series, the heel is down and the hips are like this. This time we're gonna pop that heel up and your hips are toward the knee. So we don't want this front foot up, we want it down. So if it's not rooted down on the floor, slide something down under a blanket, a book, or something like that, and then extend this back leg as straight as you can. You want it to feel straight. It may not look straight just because it's our anatomy, it's the way it is, but make sure it is straight. Make sure this knee is all the way back to this chair, because if not, then this chair is going to cut across that thigh and not give your body the space it needs. Foot is right underneath that knee, and then sweep those arms up and tip those hips forward. So when I tip my hips forward, there's a little bend, but I'm still pulling back with my knee and my leg feels straight. If you want, lift the thigh up off of the chair. Airplane the arms out, hover. Sweep the arms behind you, lengthen the spine. Sweep the arms up, warrior or crescent pose. And bringing that down, turning right away to the other side. So that back heel's up, hips are toward the front, lengthen that back leg, lift your chest, tip the hips forward and bring that up. Airplane that out. Lengthen behind you. Sweep back up. And bringing that down. Turning toward the front. All right, big toe bind. So normally we have a strap for this. So bring that knee up as much as you can. See if your first two fingers can grab your big toe. If not, you can use like a scarf, a sock, a belt, something to put around that foot to extend. If you can reach hold of the big toe, we're going to lengthen the leg out and stretch out that hamstring. So if the knee is bent, we're going to work on straightening that leg. The more you have length through your shoulder, the more length it gives you in your leg. So we don't want to round out here. We want to keep the chest up nice and tall. So if your leg is bent, you're going to work on straightening the leg. If the leg's already straight, you're going to pull the leg up toward the face. So take a breath in and exhale and deepen that stretch for you. And take another breath and exhale. And release it down to the floor, switching sides. One side, hamstring is going to be tighter than the other. This is my tight hamstring. So let's exhale and lengthen. This one doesn't want to go as easily. You have length through your shoulders, so lengthen. Don't round out through your spine. Keep your chest lifted nice and tall. So remember, you're either straightening the leg or pulling the leg toward the face. Take a breath and exhale and lengthen. And one more breath. And exhale and lengthen. All right, we're going to bring that to standing. We're going to take it to the side of your chair. You're going to do a child's pose. Child's pose is hands reaching all the way to the other side of the chair. And my booty is right above my ankles. So my feet are not back here. They're right underneath my hips. And then you're going to sink back in the rear end and drop your chest through your shoulders. Relax your head. You can rock those hips side to side if you want. You can rock the shoulders side to side if you want. Relax your belly, soften your thighs, soften your knees, and let your chest fall through. One knees nice and easy. Ripple up through the spine. And since it is Power Week, we're gonna plank. So, options, I need to look at my clock here. So, you can keep a bent knee. You can keep this, but we want this tuck. We don't want the booty popping up and the belly sagging and the chest sagging. We want to pull the heart and the pubic bone toward one another. Just like when we did the seated plank, how we did that, that's what we're doing. So step back as far as is comfortable for you. And we're gonna start that plank. If you want, you can drop your knees to the floor and reach it out long if that's comfortable for you. I said you'd never be on the floor in my class, but you're at home, so that's your option. Keeping that tucked in, and let's go. 1 minute. In our other classes, we plank for 5 minutes. So you can do this. I always tell them that your brain gives up before your body does. You start to feel weak, you start to feel shaky, but your breath will carry you, so don't hold your breath here. And it's about your mindset. So whenever I start to feel weak, I say, okay, just a couple more breaths, just a couple more breaths. I'm almost there, I'm halfway there. I just start pep talking myself because you're stronger than what you think you are. A minute is a really long time. 5 minutes is a really long time. So we just keep slowly increasing. The elbows are to the back. Make sure those elbows are not winging out. That makes you weak. Hands right underneath the shoulders, elbows facing the back. So if your arms bend, the elbows are bending backwards. So we're almost there. Keep breathing. It's okay that the body's shaking. You're going to feel empowered when you get done with this. Almost there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Forward fold. So the hands stay on this side of the chair, and you just bend the elbows and you let the head hang, the chest hang. You can even rest your forehead on the chair if you want. You can reach the hands to the floor if you want. Whatever feels good to you. You can rest the hands on the shins if you want, or you can keep the support of the chair. Nice and easy, ripple up. We're gonna finish off with a balance pose. I like to do balance poses in my classes. Balance comes from the brain. So if you're not a balanced person, it takes practice. There's lots of factors. The weather can be a factor. The atmospheric pressure is a factor. The bones in your feet are a factor. When those are stretched out and flatter to where your toes can spread more, that's helpful. If your hips are misaligned, that's a factor. If your spine is misaligned, that's a factor. So there's a lot that goes in with balance. So if you struggle with balance, I know some people have Meniere's or vertigo, it's an issue. But it's a brain activity. So we work it, we practice it. We don't just give up because we struggle with it. We struggle through it to get stronger and to become more balanced, because balance keeps you on your feet. So hands are on the chair. You're going to center the foot between the chair legs, not under the chair, just centered back here, underneath your hips, but right in between. If you're not centered, then you're going to be offset trying to balance. So we want that leg, that left leg, right center between those chair legs. So this is called tree pose. So take the left or the right leg out, stick your hip out to the left, and now see if you can pick up that foot. Counterbalancing. So if you try to keep this hip over that ankle and pick this foot up, the body wants to lean that way. So we have to counterbalance by pulling the hip to the left, kickstand. So slide that heel in so the foot is on the side. I'm hoping you can see my feet. And then lift your toes so your heel is touching the side of your leg. And now you're on one foot. Keep that hip kicked off to the side. If you feel pretty good there, you can bring it up on the calf, or you can bring it up into the thigh. Just stay off of the knee. We don't want to put any pressure on that kneecap. So once you have your foot positioned wherever you want it, always start off low. You can always build and go up. Balance is balance. It's gonna be challenging no matter where you're at. You're gonna pull the knee back and the shoulder pops up. So your spine is nice and straight. So we don't want the knee coming to the front. We don't want the arch round or the spine rounding. We want the back nice and straight. However, the booty kind of tips up a little bit and there's the belly's pulling forward just a little bit. Once you feel balanced in these legs and the hip is kicking out to the side, maybe take one hand off. And then if you feel okay with that, maybe take the other hand off. And if you're balancing just fine, extend the arms up into tree pose. Shoulders are down, reaching the arms long. If not, you're just gonna stay here and you're gonna switch out and you're gonna play with balance. And you're gonna figure out, do I need to kick the hip over a little bit more? What is my balance issue? Am I arching? Am I bending my knee? Figure those things out and see what you're doing in your body to prevent you from having balance. Are you leaning over on the knife edge of your foot? Because that's gonna throw off your balance. You need all the bones of your feet rooted down. So see if you can balance with no hands. If that's not the case, then just keep one hand softly on the chair. It's just in case and just for support. It's not to grab hold of and hold on for dear life. We want light grip here. So the foot's doing a lot of work. The core is doing a lot of work here. Your legs are working. Your low back is working. One more breath here. And bringing those hands down and switching out. So center the right foot. Find where this foot wants to be. It may be different from side to side. You may have better balance on one side than the other. I know I have better balance on one side than the other. This is not my best balanced side. Make sure all the bones of the feet are rooted down. The toes are nice and wide. The hips are forward. The knee is back. The shoulder's back. And then start to play around with letting go of the chair. Find a focal point. So don't be staring at me because I'm moving. So I'm not a good focal point. Find a spot, usually up and out or straight out. You don't really want to look at the floor unless you're looking far away and down. So you don't want the chin tipping in basically. So look far away and down or up and out or up toward the ceiling, whichever you prefer. And then start to find some balance here. Bringing those hands up, maybe one at a time. Learn to rest in your postures. Don't stress about it. No heavy breathing, soft breathing, making sure you're not holding your breath. One more breath here. And we try not to crash out of our poses. We nice and easy bring them down. All right, so let's finish off in Shavasana. So Shavasana, everybody thinks is just a let me lay here and sleep, or let me, it's just done and that's it. There's purpose in Shavasana. Shavasana is trying to experience the deepest rest that we can experience without falling asleep. So it's actually an active discipline. It's actually one of the hardest postures that we do because the way that we're wired, the way that we are is we're, especially women, not that men are not, but especially women, we're multitaskers. And I'm gonna put my jacket on because I'm cold. We are multitaskers and our brains don't want to shut off and it wants to think about a million different things at once. So this is an active discipline. You've seen those memes to where they're laying there and then they've all got all these thought bubbles going on. That's real life. It's what happens. So we want to try to shut that down. So I give you ways to try to help you do that. I kind of talk you through it. Hopefully, eventually, you would start to do that on your own. And if you practice that before you go to bed, you will probably have a much more restful sleep because we even hold tension in our sleep. A lot of us sleep tensed up like this, and some of us clench our teeth, and we don't even realize it. And we wake up with sore bodies the next morning. It's because of all the tension that we've held, the positions that we've gotten into. So I'm going to walk you through your body, and you're going to listen to my voice. You're going to close your eyes because distractions, we don't want distractions. So the more you focus on your breath and the more you focus on your body, the less distractions you're going to have. Thoughts are going to come in. You can't stop that from happening, but you do not have to chase after those thoughts. You can just let them come and go. So, booty all the way back to the chair, shoulders back and down, but we don't want a tense body, we want a nice and relaxed body. So just let your body melt into the chair. I like to do Shavasana laying down, but this is chair yoga and we can do it sitting up as well. So my feet are not rooted into the ground. I kind of let my knees pop open. My feet are rested, my knees are rested. Go ahead and close your eyes. It's always nice to put on a really relaxing song during Shavasana. I usually try to have a nice relaxing song. Music ministers to people differently, so not everybody jives to the same music. So I'm going to walk you through your body, starting from the toes all the way up to the head. And you're going to locate your tension and let it go with your breath. So relaxing those toes and the ankles, soften the calves and the knees, relaxing the thighs. Let your booty flatten out on the chair, it's nice and soft. Let the core relax. Your core works for you all day long, so give it a break here. Relax the fingers, the palms are facing up, elbows are soft. Biceps and triceps relax. Take a breath. And with your exhale, let your shoulders drop low. Already feeling the body get calmer. Softly close the lips, separate the teeth, and let that jaw fall back. Relax the eyes, softly close the eyelids, and let the eyeballs sink back. Your eyes will feel a little bit crossed. Relaxing the forehead, relaxing the eyebrows, keeping your breath nice and soft, not even trying to control it. So don't let the thoughts wander away. Don't pick up your task list, it'll all still be there when you leave. Focus on the breath, focus on the rise and fall of the belly and the chest. And you're going to make your last adjustment. And now, you're not going to fidget, you're not going to scratch, you're not going to adjust clothing, and that's when everything in your body is going to start itching at once because you can't touch it. And this just goes to show you that most of that is in your brain. You can ignore it, you can resist all of those little temptations, all of those things that are begging you to give them some attention. You don't have to, and they end up going away. So keep that breath nice and soft. Taking one more breath here. And let's start to wiggle fingers and toes. Roll the wrists and ankles around. Draw it all together, reach overhead, give yourself a really good stretch. And finishing off with one cleansing breath. We inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. So exhale all the air out first. Big inhale, both nostrils. And a big exhale. Namaste, my lovelies. I hope you have a wonderful day.